The belief that continents were not always fixed in their current positions was suspected long before the 20th century. Dutch mapmaker Abraham Ortelius first suggested the idea as early as 1596, over 70 years after Magellan sailed. He noticed similarities between the continental shapes of South America and Africa. He observed that the east coast of South America would fit neatly into the west coast of Africa, much like pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. He suggested the Americas may have torn away from Europe and Africa by earthquakes or flood. Ortelius's idea came to light again in the 1800s, when geographer Antonio Snider Pellegrini made two maps depicting how the American and African continents may have once fitted together. However, it was not until 1915 that the idea of moving continents was considered a scientific theory. Proposed by German meteorologist and explorer Alfred Wegener, continental drift theory proposed that 300 million years ago the Earth was one giant continent, Pangaea. Wegener theorized that Pangaea broke apart in the Jurassic period, about 200 million years ago, into two smaller continents, Gondwana and Laurasia. Separating the two subcontinents was an ocean Wegener named the Tethys Sea. Over millions of years, Gondwana and Laurasia broke away into smaller continents, gradually drifting to their present positions. Wegener based his theory on the close fit of the African and South American coastlines. But he also observed the similarity of plants, animals and fossils on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Geological similarities between Africa and South America also included the same 3 layers of rock in each locality. Wegener also argued that glacial sediment in South America, Africa, Madagascar, Arabia, India, Antarctica, and Australia was best explained if all these continents were once connected. The discovery of tropical plant fossils in Antarctica further provided Wegener with evidence that this continent was once located closer to the equator. Initial reactions to Wegener's theory were hostile. The scientific community firmly believed the continents and oceans were permanent features on the Earth's surface. Some people thought the northern and southern poles might have wandered, while the continents remained stationary. Others thought that dispersion by winds or water currents could explain the distribution of fossils.
Wegener his early idea was if they're on both continents and they're separated by oceans, how could they get from one to the other without swimming? But in the old days we used to talk about land bridges, and we never knew what they were really. But if you have a thing called polar wander, you're going to get redistribution of the oceans, you're going to get changes in sea level, and this would allow for certain migrations.
A key criticism of the theory was Wegener's inability to explain how the continents drifted apart. Other scientists argued it was impossible for there to be forces great enough to shift these great slabs of rock over such long distances. Wegener suggested that the continents drifted by ploughing through the ocean floor. But other scientists argued it would be impossible for continents to do this without the rock breaking up.